Ethan moved into the house on Willow Lane because it was cheap. That should have been his first warning. The neighborhood looked normal enough. Small houses, quiet streets, elderly couples tending gardens, kids riding bicycles. Nothing seemed wrong until the third night. Ethan was brushing his teeth when he glanced through the bathroom window. Across the street stood a man. He wasn't walking, wasn't talking, wasn't smoking or checking his phone. He was simply standing perfectly still and staring directly at Ethan's house. Ethan frowned. The man wore a dark coat despite the summer heat. His face was hidden beneath a hood. Probably waiting for someone, Ethan muttered. He went to bed. The next morning, the man was gone. 3 nights later, Ethan saw him again. Same spot, same coat, same motionless stance. This time, Ethan watched for nearly 20 minutes. The man never moved. Not once. No shifting weight. No scratching. No looking around. Just staring. A strange chill crept through Ethan. He closed the blinds. When he looked again an hour later, the man was gone. Weeks passed. The sightings became more frequent. Every few nights. Then every night. Always after midnight. Always standing across the street. Always watching. Ethan started losing sleep. One evening, he finally approached his neighbor, an elderly woman named Mrs. Finch. Have you noticed the guy across the street? Her smile disappeared instantly. What guy? The man who stands out there at night. Mrs. Finch looked frightened. Don't talk about him. What? Just don't. Then she walked away. That night, Ethan called the police. An officer arrived around 1 a.m. Together, they looked outside. The man was there, standing beneath a street lamp, watching. The officer sighed. I'll talk to him. He crossed the street. The hooded figure remained motionless. The officer reached him. Spoke. No response. Spoke again. Still nothing. Then the officer suddenly turned and walked back. His face had gone pale. What happened? The officer hesitated. He's on private property, not breaking any laws. That's it. Lock your doors. Then he left. The next morning, Ethan searched online. He found local forums discussing strange occurrences on Willow Lane. One post caught his attention. It was 8 years old. The title read, Has anyone seen a watcher? The post described a hooded man standing across the street every night, watching, never moving, never speaking. Several replies claimed to have seen him. The oldest reply chilled Ethan's blood. Once he starts watching your house, he gets closer. Ethan laughed nervously. Urban legend nonsense, right? That night, he checked his window. The man wasn't across the street. Relief washed over him. Then he froze. The figure now stood at the edge of Ethan's front lawn. Closer, much closer, watching. Ethan called police again. By the time they arrived, the man had vanished. No footprints, no evidence, nothing. The officers looked annoyed. Ethan felt ridiculous, but he knew what he had seen. The next night, the figure moved again. Now he stood beside the mailbox, 20 feet from the front door, motionless, watching. The porch light illuminated part of his face. Ethan wished it hadn't. The skin looked gray, like old paper, and the eyes were completely black. Ethan barely slept. At dawn, he checked outside. The man was gone, but something rested on the porch. A photograph. Ethan picked it up. His stomach dropped. It showed him sleeping, taken through his bedroom window. He installed cameras immediately. Front yard, backyard, doorbell camera, every angle. That night, he sat awake monitoring the feeds. Midnight passed, then 1 a.m., then 2 a.m. Nothing. At 2:37 a.m., all cameras simultaneously went black. Every screen filled with static. Ethan's heart pounded. A knock echoed through. 3 slow taps. Knock, knock, knock. The front door. Ethan didn't move. The knocks continued. Slow, patient, almost gentle. Then they stopped. The cameras returned seconds later. The figure stood directly outside the door, staring into the camera. Ethan screamed. The face filled the screen. Gray skin, black eyes, a smile impossibly wide. Then the feed died again. Police arrived 20 minutes later. Nothing was outside. No footprints. No fingerprints. Nothing. The officers left. Ethan sat trembling in his living room. Then he heard a sound upstairs. A floorboard creaking. Someone was inside. Ethan grabbed a kitchen knife and rushed upward. The sound came from his bedroom. He kicked the door open. Nobody. The room was empty. Then he noticed something on the wall, written in black marker. A single sentence. I'm tired of watching from outside. Ethan fled the house that night. He rented a motel across town. Finally, he felt safe. At least until morning, when he found a photograph slipped beneath his motel door. It showed him sleeping in the motel bed, taken only hours earlier. Panic consumed him. He moved again, then again. Different cities, different apartments, different states. It didn't matter. Every few weeks he'd spot the hooded figure, across a parking lot, standing near a gas station, watching from the end of the hallway, always closer than before, always watching. 10 years passed. Ethan became paranoid and isolated. He trusted nobody, rarely slept, rarely left home. The watcher remained, patient, waiting, closing the distance, little by little. One winter evening, Ethan looked through his apartment peephole. His blood froze. For the first time ever, the figure wasn't outside. The hallway was empty. No watch it. Nothing. Silence. Then a voice whispered behind him. Soft. Cold. Directly into his ear. I don't have to watch anymore. The police found Ethan's apartment empty. No signs of struggle. No body. No evidence. Nothing. Only a single photograph resting on the floor. A picture of an empty room, taken from inside, as if someone had finally reached their destination. Maya first noticed him on the subway. A tall man in a black baseball cap. Nothing unusual, until she saw him again the next day. And the day after that. And the day after that. Always somewhere nearby. Never speaking. Never approaching. Just watching. At first she assumed coincidence. Big city. Thousands of people. Of course she'd see the same faces occasionally. Then one afternoon, she entered a bookstore. 30 minutes later, she glanced toward the history section. The man stood there, watching. Her stomach tightened. When he realized she'd seen him, he turned and walked away. Fast. Too fast. Like he didn't want to be caught. That night, Maya told her friend Olivia, "You're probably overthinking it. I know what I saw. Then take a picture." Good idea. 2 days later, Maya saw him again. This time in a grocery store. She discreetly snapped a photo. The man immediately turned his head, looking directly at her phone. Then he smiled, a slow smile, and walked away. When Maya got home, she opened the photo. Her blood ran cold. The image showed the grocery aisle. Shelves, products, customers, everything, except the man. He wasn't in the picture. She checked again, zoomed in. Nothing. Impossible. She had photographed him. She knew she had. The sightings increased. Coffee shops, parking lots, bus stops, movie theaters. The man appeared everywhere. Always at a distance. Always staring. Never speaking. One night Maya received a friend request online. No profile picture. No posts. No personal information. Just one message. You look tired. Her heart pounded. She blocked the account. 3 minutes later, another account appeared. Blocking me won't help. Maya deleted every social media profile she had. It didn't matter. Messages continued arriving. Different accounts. Different numbers. Different emails. Always the same theme. Watching. Observing. Knowing things no stranger should know. One message read, "You left your bedroom window open." She rushed upstairs. The window was indeed open. Another read, "You should replace the flickering bulb in your kitchen." She looked up. The bulb flickered, exactly as described. Maya went to police. They investigated. No usable evidence. The accounts vanished immediately after sending messages. IP addresses led nowhere. Security footage showed nothing suspicious. Nothing except one strange detail. Whenever Maya claimed the man appeared somewhere, cameras failed to capture him. Every single time. Weeks became months. Maya barely slept. She covered windows, installed alarms, changed routines. Nothing worked. The messages continued. Then came the package. No return address. Inside sat a photo album. Maya's hands shook as she opened it. Page after page contained photographs of her life. Walking to work, eating lunch, sleeping, crying, reading, bathing. Hundreds of pictures, some obviously taken from impossible angles. as if the photographer stood inside locked rooms. The final page contained note. You never look behind you long enough. Maya immediately spun around. Nothing. Empty room. Silence. Then her phone buzzed. A new message. Exactly. That was the moment she broke. She quit her job, moved cities, changed numbers, changed names. 10:35 am, 18. Juni 2026 Sarim. Everything. For 6 peaceful months, she believed she'd escaped. Then one rainy evening, she entered a convenience store and saw him, standing near the refrigerators, watching. The black cap, the smile, the eyes. He was back. Maya ran. She moved again and again, but the man always returned, like a shadow attached to her life. Years passed. The messages grew stranger, more personal, more impossible. One text read, "Your mother just fell asleep in her chair." Maya called immediately. Her mother answered, confused. She had indeed just woken up in her chair. Another message said, "Don't open the closet." Maya stared at the closet door for hours. Eventually, curiosity won. 10:35 a.m., June 18th, 2026, Sarum. She opened it. Inside hung hundreds of photographs. Fresh photographs. Taken that same week. Maya screamed. Police searched. When they arrived, the closet was empty. The photographs had vanished. No one believed her anymore. Friends drifted away. Family worried about her mental state. Therapists suggested paranoia, hallucinations, stress. Then came the final message. Only her phone remained. On the screen was a newly received message, sent from Maya's number to a random stranger. It contained 4 words. Turn around very slowly.